to do that shit over. I think it was a scheme so they could have a rematch anyway. Yeah, I mean, like, that was the whole thing, so they could.
The highly anticipated rematch between GervontaDavis and Lamont Roach is officially set following the New York State Athletic Commission's final ruling on their controversial fight. The decision has sparked heated debates across the boxing world, with fans divided over whether justice was truly served.
Tank, like, again, if you got that elite level eye, you know what you saw. He was intimidated by Roach, and it was, like, baffling to see. Why was he moving? Because to me, he was intimidated by Roach.
The New York State Athletics Commission has upheld the original majority draw decision, despite admitting that referee Steve Willis made critical errors in the 9th round. Willis began a count, but inexplicably stopped midway, allowing Davis to return to his corner, where his team illegally wiped his face before the round resumed. This alone should have resulted in a disqualification, yet Davis walked away with his undefeated record intact. The commission acknowledged that the correct call should have been a knockdown, but defended its decision by stating that the referee's discretion is final.
Almost a week ago, it ain't been a week yet, but GervontaDavis and Lamont Roach, man, it was a draw. But Davis is talking about fighting again in May. Davis, I don't think...
Many fans and fighters believe Roach was denied what could have been the biggest victory of his career. Even Canelo Alvarez didn't hold back, saying, "He took a knee. You need to lose that round 10-8 at least." Plus, the corner went up and put a towel in his face. That's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules. Canelo's words reflect what many already believe, that Davis received preferential treatment and was protected by officials unwilling to put a blow.
At least, no? And plus, the corner go up and put it...
Took to social media to voice his frustration while staying composed. "Look, man, I'm going to tell y'all straight up. I didn't sue anybody. My team submitted an appeal on my behalf. What kind of team wouldn't stand up and take action when they know something was wrong? They had my back, so y'all can put that lawsuit talk to rest," he posted on X. He also made it clear that he never expected the decision to be overturned, but was confident that the world saw what really happened. "Everyone knows I won the fight, and I'm satisfied with..."
He did tell me, he said he probably gonna come out a little harder the next round. They probably told him something. And then I guess when you go back and watch it, they did give him a little.
2 is officially on the way, and with that, the rematch has been set in motion. The WBA wasted no time ordering an immediate rematch, which Davis surprisingly welcomed, even claiming he'd be ready as early as May. But let's be real. Does he truly want this fight again? The way he struggled in the ring, gasping for air and buckling under Roach's relentless pressure, suggests otherwise. Boxing politics are in full effect. Davis maintaining his undefeated record despite the controversy benefits promoters, networks, and sanctioning bodies that profit from his status. A loss to Roach would have dealt a massive blow to ticket sales, pay-per-view numbers, and future big-money fights. So, did the New York State Athletic Commission uphold the referee's decision out of principle, or was it about protection?
Already made it competitive for real, to be honest. But for sure, Lamont's a great fighter. He got the skills, like I said before. He got punching power. It was a learned lesson, you know. Shout out to Lamont.
Roach knows exactly what happened that night, and so does Davis. No matter how much Davis tries to play it cool deep down, he knows he was inches away from his first loss. Now he has no choice but to step back into the ring and do it all over again. Roach, on the other hand, has nothing to lose and everything to gain. If he fights with the same intensity but applies even more pressure, Davis might not...
Because if y'all didn't notice, he started the count.
He did.
And let's talk about Steve Willis, the referee at the center of this controversy. This is the same guy known for his dramatic facial expressions during fights, but now his judgment is under serious scrutiny. How do you start a knockdown count, stop midway, and then act like it never happened? And what was he thinking when he allowed Davis's corner to illegally wipe his face? If Willis made these calls out of sheer incompetence, he has no business officiating high-stakes fights. But if there was another reason, a deeper, more intentional motive, then boxing has a much
in the ring to set me up with certain shots or anything like that.
Davis, of course, remains defiant. His camp insists he was never hurt, didn't deserve to lose a point, and that Roach simply wasn't good enough to beat him decisively. But the footage tells a different story. The knee touched the ground, the count started, illegal corner. Assistance took place, and yet Davis still walked away with his record intact. How much more protection does he need? The rematch is set to be explosive. Roach now carries an even bigger chip on his shoulder. He's not just fighting for a title, he's fighting against a system he believes cheated him. Davis, on the other hand, has the weight of proving he can beat Roach clean, without controversy.
Left, and then, that's why Tank went ahead and took a knee, because he was just trying to spare some time. When I really got a chance to look at it, he really rolled that punch, and if you can see his...
Fans are already divided on what to expect. Some believe Davis will come in more aggressive, looking to put Roach away early and silence the doubters. Others think Roach has figured him out and will apply even more pressure to expose his weaknesses. Meanwhile, some pros are still backing Davis, dismissing it as just a bad night. Leading that camp is Jaron "Boots" Ennis. While the boxing world erupted over the controversial draw between GervontaDavis and Lamont Roach Jr., Ennis remained unfazed. He didn't buy into the outrage, conspiracy theories, or claims that Davis got away with something.
Really take it from him, and I feel as though that Lamont did a great job at that, and he was trying to catch and counter him and things like that, but I don't know. I think he caught Tank off guard a little bit, maybe, but and the Tank wasn't really focused in the corner. He was arguing with Calvin or one of them. I don't know. It's just a lot of things. We don't know what was going on.
In Ennis's eyes, the draw wasn't a robbery. It was simply a great fight. He put it plainly, saying he had Davis edging it 115-113, but wasn't upset with the official decision either. That's a rare stance in a sport where every close fight sparks full-blown controversy. Most fighters, trainers, and fans took extreme positions. Either Roach was robbed or Davis was unfairly criticized. But Ennis stayed right in the middle, respecting both men's performances. Lamont did a great job, actually. I just don't think he did enough to pull it off, and I feel like people are overlooking what Tank was doing in the first 5 or 6 rounds. And it
so happen to be a boxing fan that the fact that I do watch him fight, you know what I'm saying? I really like boxing.
Are you open to immediate rematch?
In my contract, immediate rematch was signed. I signed for the immediate rematch when I signed for the first fight.
Right.
Just in case he lost or just in case.
2 of the official judges saw Davis controlling the early part of the fight, winning 5 of the first 6 rounds.
A lot of people
but because the fight ended in controversy, no one wanted to talk about that. Instead, all the focus shifted to the 9th round, and that's where things got messy. Davis clearly touched the canvas with his knee, and everyone knows what that means.
Put me with a good shot, but it was times that I sat in there with him, and I'm like, damn, this guy super slow. Well, not super slow, but he's slow, and I could have took advantage of. I think I was boxing too much in the beginning, and when I
Ennis didn't argue against that. In fact, he admitted outright that the referee should have made the call. But even then, he wasn't quick to cry foul play. Instead, he saw 2 possible explanations. Either Davis's superstar status influenced the moment, or the referee simply froze under pressure. Anybody else, they would have called that a knockdown. I didn't know what was going on, Ennis said, hinting that Davis may have received special treatment. But in the same breath, he offered a more forgiving perspective. It might have been a big moment for the referee. Maybe he didn't know what to do. Mistakes happen.
And people, critics talking, but I think he's one hell of a fighter, and I think he's still the top dog.
People just don't like Tank. He looked sharp to me. People just be talking, Ennis said. And that's a real point. Every time Davis fights, there's already a narrative waiting for him. If he wins easily, critics say he cherry-picks opponents. If he struggles, they call him overrated. And now, even with a draw, the energy around him felt like he had taken an L. That's the price of being a star in boxing. Fighters like Davis aren't just judged on wins and losses, they're held to an entirely different standard. Expectations are so high that even a close fight turns into a full-blown controversy. Ennis saw it for what it was. He wasn't about to pretend Davis looked bad when he clearly controlled the early rounds.
Reverse the result of your fight.
Yeah.
Should they reverse the result of that fight as well?
It just depends. Like if that changes the whole fight, if that gives Roach a victory, give him the victory. That's how you keep the integrity of the sport, right? That's why they suspended me, right? To keep the integrity of the sport. So I feel like if you're gonna do.
And then there was the scoring confusion. Ennis mentioned that even if the knockdown had been called, he believed the 9th round would have been scored 9-9. However, that's not how boxing's scoring system works. A round with a knockdown is typically scored 10-8, unless the knocked down fighter dominates the rest of the round. Even though Ennis got that part wrong, his bigger point remained valid. The missed knockdown wasn't necessarily the reason Davis avoided a loss. That was the perspective many weren't ready to hear. The truth is, even if the knockdown had been counted, Davis still had a path to victory on the scorecards. Maybe it would have swung the fight in Roach's favor, maybe not. But what Ennis...
He said he thought he won. I think I won. We got a draw, so, it's mutual respect for each other's skill levels, and it's mutual respect for each other's will, too.
And now, the rematch is officially happening. The New York State Athletic Commission gave its final ruling, and the WBA wasted no time ordering a second fight. Davis and Roach are set to run it back, and this time, there won't be any confusion. No referee mistakes, no controversial scorecards. Just a fight where one man will leave no doubt. Ennis, for his part, likely won't change his stance. However, Lamont Roach has every right to feel frustrated. The New York State Athletic Commission had the opportunity to correct what many...
I mean, the only reason they gave you the fight was because you would make more money as a champion, but there's no way it's a draw, and they didn't call the knockdown. If they called a knockdown...
Their statement, the commission openly admitted that referee Steve Willis made the wrong call in the 9th round when he failed to count a knockdown after Davis's knee touched the canvas. But despite acknowledging the error, they refused to change the result. That decision is what really got people talking. Roach isn't playing the victim. He's not begging for respect. He's focused on the rematch and already carrying himself, like the real winner. Meanwhile, Davis may still be technically undefeated, but the way the fight ended has left many questioning whether he truly deserved to walk.
If you take a knee in the fight and you touch down, whilst punches are being thrown, it has to be a knockdown. I've heard some people saying, he should be disqualified. He went back to the corner. I don't buy that, to be honest with you. I think that's a warning.
Roach was aggressive, pushing the pace, while Davis relied on his usual precision and power. But then came the moment that changed everything. Roach unleashed a flurry of punches, forcing Davis backward. As Davis tried to evade the shots, his knee touched the canvas, a clear knockdown by the rules of boxing. This wasn't just a small mistake. It was a massive moment that could have altered the fight's outcome. A knockdown in that round would have made it a 10-8 round for Roach, potentially tipping the scorecards in his favor. Instead,
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring? And was it to get the towel out, to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on?
I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes was burning. And you can get knocked out like...
What made the situation even worse was that the New York State Athletic Commission, after reviewing the footage, admitted that Willis made the wrong call. They stated that the most appropriate decision would have been for the referee to count the knockdown. But then, in the same statement, they argued that the decision was ultimately up to the referee's discretion, and since he didn't count they wouldn't change the result. This left many boxing fans and analysts outraged. If the commission admitted an error was made, then why not take action? Why acknowledge a mistake, but still let the results stand? The inconsistency in their decision only fueled conspiracy theories that Davis, as one of boxing's biggest stars, was being
not happen. Gervonta Tank Davis doesn't like hard fights. It's that simple. We've seen it over and over. He fought a Ryan Garcia drained. He fought a very inexperienced Rolly Romero. He will not fight Devin.
Now, even though the rematch between GervontaDavis and Lamont Roach has been confirmed, another major fight is set to shake. Upboxing in a way no one expected, Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez are now on a collision course. With both men looking to make a statement, this matchup could overshadow anything else happening in the lightweight and super lightweight divisions. The aftermath of Davis's controversial draw with Roach has left many questions unanswered. But with Stevenson and Lopez being mentioned together more and more, the sport's attention is shifting toward a fight that could define an entire era. Teofimo Lopez has been vocal about his thoughts on both Davis and Stevenson. And after Davis's performance against Roach, Lopez did...
I wanted to get your thoughts on the Gervonta Tank Davis situation. What was your assessment on his fight against Lamont Roach, and what are your thoughts on the knockdown that wasn't called in round 9?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good fight overall. Lamont, I always knew Lamont was, he wasn't coming to late.